everyone for making a few minutes in your day today and joining us. For those of you that I've not had the pleasure of meeting previously, I'm Scott D. Fussell from Blitz, and with me here is my father and business partner, Craig. Dad, you want to say hi?
Hello, thanks for coming.
So our company is on a mission to transform developmental disability providers by teaching them how to attract and retain more amazing direct support professionals with communication that motivates. That's enough about us. The quick background on why we're all here today is obviously providers had more than enough challenges before COVID-19 hit. Then it hit and it just made life incredibly chaotic. And John was one of the first people that I thought of. So I shot him an email and said, John, let's brainstorm. How can we help providers? And this is what we came up with. We just want to get started simply 10 minutes of your day, once a week, to, at the very least, uplift you, share some good news, share some ideas, bring people together, talk, and only good things can come out of that. So with that, I'll turn it over to John and the whole Quillo team.
Well, thanks, Scott and Craig. And when Scott first called and said, gee, what can we do to help people? This is such a trying time, and there's so many negative messages coming. And I was pleased he thought of us because we've worked together on some things. And Quillo is all about building relationships using positive psychology with staff. That how do we help people, not only through times like this, but every day that work so hard in what we're doing. And we're real believers in the energy around positive emotions. And so we invited a group of key people that are incredibly busy and said, we'd like to get together for a few minutes once a week, record it, and share it for anybody that can't make it, that just focuses on some good news. And with me today is Sue Gordon, our Chief Operating Officer, who also has a 21-year-old daughter with Down syndrome, and Rebecca Scherpoltz, who works out of Minneapolis with us, and has a dog named Looney, which you can learn about another time as you get to know her. But we're just really pleased to have you here for a few minutes today because we know how incredibly important you are and how important the work you have is. And so we just wanted to share some thanks and to share some good news about what's going on, and then hopefully gather from you other good news we can share with folks like you all around the country. So, Craig?
Well, speaking of good news, and one of our participants today is one who shared it with me. Pete Roll of Resident Home Association in Dayton told me recently that other than the fact outings and day programs were shut down, it was pretty much business as usual. And he loved how creative his DSPs are being in that they decided in their residences to do a talent show where they are recording on phones the various the participants doing the talent, singing, dance, whatever, and posting it on their private Facebook page. And it has been so popular that they've extended the date. So they've gotten, it not only is uplifting for the individual served, but it's uplifting for the staff. And this is something that could be easily duplicated by other providers. And I'm sure your DSPs have other creative ideas, and what better time than to take advantage of their creativity and see what they can come up with and share.
And it becomes a great reminder of the good that is out there that is happening in spite of all that we're dealing with. I wanted to share a quick story as we looked at it, that I was talking with a particular provider, and he was just really down at a particular moment. And he said, we had 58 shifts that we couldn't cover last week. 58 that managers had to step in and cover for people that couldn't make it to work. And I said, well, wow, that had to be tough. And I said, but how many settings do you have? And he said, well, we actually have about 130 settings where we have people living, of 2 to 3 people in each setting. And I said, so that means you do 130 shifts every 8 hours. That's 390 shifts a day, 7 days a week. That's almost 2,800 shifts you have to cover in a week. And you missed 58, which is tragic and terrible, tough thing. But you also then covered almost 99% of your shifts with people showing up every day and being there. And your people that showed up, how do you celebrate that? In the midst of a pandemic, 98% of your people showed up for work. and to take care of other people and support them what they're doing. And he said, I'd never thought about it that way. We focused on those that didn't show up versus the ones that did show up. And it led him to, he called me back a couple of days later and he said, we did two things. One, we sent a gift card to everybody that made all their shifts and just said thank you. And then he said, we started thinking about the 58 that were missed. Instead of calling and just saying, okay, Bozo, why didn't you show up for work? They called and said, is everything okay? And they said, we're going to send them a gift card as well and say, you're part of our team. We're sorry you missed it, but we need you. The people that you met, they're thinking about you. So again, the idea of perspective of how do we celebrate the good things that are going on with folks all the time becomes part of what our mission has to be, of getting that around to folks. Because it's really easy to get caught into just looking at the negative along the way. So I think I'm going to throw it back to Scott here as we begin thinking about it.
Thanks for sharing that, John. The real quick teaser on next week is we want to regroup. Feel free to invite friends next week. We want to talk about, again, the good news. So we're going to focus on, what opportunities do we see within this crisis and the challenges right now, because they are there. And I think a lot of people too easily fall into the mindset of focusing exclusively on all the challenges right now. And there are plenty of opportunities on the flip side. So that's going to be the focus for next week. We've got a few minutes. So Rebecca, John, Sue, if everyone's cool, I'm happy to open up the mics. And there's some really, really smart people in this room that have some great things to share. So questions, anything that the conversation has sparked, go for it.
That'd be great. We got about 3 minutes left. Any thoughts or any particular good stories you want to share from folks that you've picked up that have come out of this, that has either changed your thinking or given you some ideas, or Brandy has you dressing up more in costumes than you used to? So
yes, we definitely dress up a lot more around here than we used to. One amazing thing that happened this weekend is our providers did Easter egg hunts for all their folks. So they would throw a house of people in a car, and the employees of the providers would decorate the outside of their homes with eggs and different things. And so they had kind of a drive-by Easter egg hunt, which we got lots of pictures of. That was amazing, because here are these people that are trying to plan something normal for their own families, and then trying to think outside of the box for the people that they serve, who they consider family. It was really, really neat to look at all the pictures.
great. Anybody else?
So I think this is good news in the context of all the challenges that we're all facing. As we've had, increasing number of staff tested positive, and now have had a couple of people in our group living environments and homes tested positive. We've been trying to figure out what's the best way to respond. So we've been working with the town, where we have a day program space that has like a gym, a small gym, and large areas for people who really need to get out. So for people tested positive, that we really want to set up a safe home for them and for others, and have staff that are committed to supporting them. We just got approval to do some renovations and have 6 people move in there, with staff that are committed and have a better environment that's kind of has more space than, a small home. So literally we're all working around, and I felt like I was a drug dealer, because I had to meet the sergeant in my town, who's the COVID response team leader, to hand him a permit check so we could get a permit and, finish the renovations and being able to have someone move in. So it was nice to see everyone come together.
Great. Wonderful. Well, you know, one of the things we want to gather, and I know you've all got stories, and, you know, Barbara shared on you about how they're doing some things there. And Joe, great to have you on the call as well. This is not a limited group. If you want to invite other folks that come in, we know everybody's busy. And so we wanted to keep it to 10 minutes. We want to talk again next week. We're going to record this and put it up on our YouTube channel. We'll send you some links to that. Along with, if any of you want to share any quick videos of what you're doing, we'll put those up as well. This is a time that we can support each other and find those good things that keep us going. And just, you know, I know each of you have stories. I'm sure Art has some, Jeff. We're from all across the country here. We're just so glad you came together for 10 minutes. And we know there's things waiting for you. There's other people here. I had folks from Louisiana that wanted to be on here. Our state DD director from Indiana wanted to be on, but they're constantly being, you know, pulled in a lot of different directions. So we want to keep it to 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop talking and I'll sign off. Scott, you want to add anything here as we wrap up?
No, you hit it perfectly, John. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Good to see all of you.
Thanks much, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. Take care now.